You got it. Hello and welcome back to the Fox Strength Performance YouTube channel. I am Taylor Fox and we are back in the car for another Strength Car Talk. So I am headed out to Toms River, New Jersey for a fire truck pull. This is something Liz D'Amato is putting on as a surprise for her fiance, Aaron. Put it out there a little bit in the Power Build community, but didn't want to put anything out on social media to kind of spoil the surprise. So we wanted people to come, but it's also like difficult to promote when the main form of promotion a lot of times nowadays is social media and can't use it. So it was a little funny, but I'm excited to pull a truck, and this is a big thing in Strongman that I really tried to voice to people, and I feel like is a big factor that should be used to consider doing this type of event is specificity. Like, you need specificity. Specificity really is king long term if you're preparing for competition. You need to be able to do as specific of an event as possible leading up to a competition. And this is something where I've really fallen short and haven't gotten the ideal technical aspect to then be able to compete at an optimal performance in that event. So I've had this come up with circus dumbbell, you know, not doing the globe circus dumbbell, instead just doing a normal like plate loaded circus dumbbell, just more cylindrical at the ends. And then there is, of course, truck pull. Didn't prepare for truck pull well. I feel like I had a really good accessory movement for it training in my garage, and I felt like that worked really well. But in the end, I should have either gotten somebody to come train with me and use their truck or loan me a truck. You can even rent trucks and it's not too expensive for the benefit of like you are going to get that stimulus that's going to be very realistic to the competition that you're preparing for. So that in the end, if you're, you know, committed to doing this competition and you want to do well, then the big thing is like you want to prepare as much as you can and be ready for it. So you should be willing and ready to do the necessary means to get that specificity into your training program. I would say at least once. Like, you need that exposure multiple times really for each event, but if you can do a quality accessory combined with one really realistic exposure, I think that's going to be huge for your performance. And again, don't beat yourself up, because this is something that I have also fallen short on. I was lazy, I was busy, didn't have like the time to set up like that specific thing, but I had the time to train for 2 hours. It can be kind of a conflicting point of view, is what it is, and you know, we take it and we move on. I've learned from those processes. Fortunately, I thought I learned from it, and then I did the same thing again. So it's a funny situation, but overall I know like I need to prepare for these types of events and make sure that I have this specific type of exposure in. And I don't have a competition coming up right now that has a truck pull, nor do I have a competition that's coming up that soon. I have what I'm thinking is going to be Battle at the Bridge in June. I still technically need to sign up for it, so I should probably get on that. But other than that, I don't have much coming up on the calendar, but I know that this is a good opportunity to come and do this event. So I'm taking advantage of it and hit it, you know, hard so that I have that exposure and I have that experience. So I'm pretty excited about it, and hopefully I can get some video as well, just so you guys can see me pulling the fire truck. And you know, I think it'll be pretty good content, and I'm hoping that we're prepared and, you know, ready to pull it. I have my rock climbing shoes, which is a must. You got to have good, grippy, stiff shoes to be able to pull the truck with. I like gloves. Other people just like to bare hand the rope. And then the big thing is getting low. You want to get as low as possible, and you want to be able to drive forward with your body weight, drive off the surface that you're pulling on, and have those shoes stick as much as you can, and just keep increasing that foot tempo, force production through the ground, force production through the pull and the rope, and you get it moving as quickly as you can, and you just keep it moving at that pace in order to finish as fast as possible. Come on, keep coming. It's still moving, let's go. You got it. Come on. You got it. You're good. You're good. All right, so we are back in the car. Pretty good time pulling that fire truck. We did end the day with an injury. Somebody got hurt, which isn't great, but hopefully they'll be okay in the long run. It really is the reality of the sport. Anytime you go into heavy training, heavy competition, you gotta know that injury is a risk. Have to be content with those circumstances and results. So learn, you move on. Try to do the best you can with the situation. We tested some different surfaces. It was pretty tough. First surface, I got it moving pretty well, but then you just hit the spot where it's just not going to get over that hump. And then we moved it to the back lot, but then it's like you're kind of stuck in a patch at the start that it's tough to get out of. So the driver was actually starting it in first gear and then just shifting to neutral. And that seemed to help pretty well so that people could get it moving and finish. But then we were like, you know, usually you just start it in neutral. So we were like, let's just start it in neutral and see what happens. So then it was like we couldn't get it moving. And that was where the problem arose, where somebody got hurt. But overall, it was a good day. The event kind of frustrates me because there's always been those issues with the ground, the grade of the surface, if it's actually like doable. I tend to get pretty high on the movement. It was always a problem I had with football, was staying fairly low. So I felt like my position was better, but it was like, you know, I started in a nice bear crawl position, got the vehicle moving, but then I want to extend my legs because I've got such long legs. My legs make up a decent amount of my height. So then I'm like extending my legs and then I'm up pretty high, even though like I'm keeping my torso parallel to the ground. So you really want to stay low and be like an arrow along the ground and just keep pumping your legs and pushing forward and pulling on that rope. I feel like I've never really had a clean, successful go of it with the rock climbing shoes. I pulled a Bearcat police vehicle at Nick Hines' competition. They're Nikes, I forget what the shoe is called. And that was okay. It wasn't too heavy of a vehicle, ended up being kind of more of a speed thing than anything else. But obviously the technique is hindered by like the friction that you're able to establish with your footwear. Rock climbing shoes definitely would have helped in that situation. And then I've had a lot of lighter vehicle pulls after that up until I got to the Humvee in Virginia, and that was where we had it like on a little bit of an uphill grade, and it's like you had to get it moving and keep it moving, and otherwise it just rolled right back down the hill and then you were done. And that was where like I didn't really understand the technique. I thought I was like low, but then I wasn't low. I wasn't getting a good position to start to where I could get it moving, and that's really what lost me that competition. So to come in here and it was like, okay, like I am good with this technique. I'm gonna get it moving and I'm gonna stay low and I'm gonna keep that momentum and get that vehicle rolling and it'll be fine. And the first one honestly like felt the most encouraging. I was like, okay, like it's going, and then I just hit that brick wall. So then I'm like, the next ones will be fine. I kind of like got a little lost there with the one pull because I really couldn't hear anything, and I wasn't sure that anybody was like calling for a start, and I was like, are we starting? And I was standing there pulling, and I was like, I didn't know if I was actually putting productive energy into the vehicle because I'm like, I don't know if it's supposed to move or not at the moment. So I got a little like off track with that, and then I started pulling and then it wouldn't move, and that was frustrating. And then I was like back it up again and let's just go again right away. And that wasn't very productive either because I was fatigued, combined with the fact that it's a very heavy vehicle. So that was a struggle. And then we did get in that one spot where I moved it very quickly. So I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. But it's also like, we don't want to make it easy and make it to where it's like downhill and it's piece of cake, just push and it'll move and start rolling. And again, we did all this with the driver putting it into first gear to begin with. So then Aaron was like, can we put it in neutral to start? We'll try to pull it from the spot that we think is good. And that seemed to just really be a rough go of it. Couldn't get it moving, and that's where we had problems as well. So I'm kind of still at a loss of like, can I be successful in this type of event? Like I want to be a good vehicle puller, roller. It's kind of one of those staples of strongman. And again, it comes up in competition, and then it's like, well, how are you gonna prep for it? You have to find events like this that promoters like Liz will put on, but not everybody does that. So then you're left to your own means to figure out how to train this, how to best prepare for it. And I'm definitely a little bit in my head about it. There's a lot of other stuff that I can do that might come up in competition that I can expose myself to, but the vehicle pull is one that's kind of a dark spot there for me, because you can't necessarily do it all the time. And as we've seen, like, it is a very heavy, intense event. So do you want to go out and do it that frequently? And the answer is probably no. So I'm just gonna kind of try to wrap my head around that, and I don't have it coming up necessarily. It seems like Battle at the Bridge will be I think it's a push into an arm over arm, or is it arm over arm into a push? Probably makes more sense the first way, but I have to double check on that. But that might be something on that hockey rink floor where there isn't ice. That could be kind of slippery. So if they don't put stall mat down for it, I'll probably just wear the rock climbing shoes to push with, which I think would make sense. So that at least gives me an opportunity to use those again to be productive in an event, make sure that I have a good time, good placing. But other than that, we'll just keep becoming more well-rounded as strongman. That's really my focus is with stuff like this, is just to expose myself to more events so that when they do come up in competition, which I'm trying to do more high-level competitions and really be competitive, like, I just want to be prepared at a moment's notice to do stuff like that. So this was exciting. Definitely still, work in progress, but we're trying to put everything together and, bring the most well-rounded package possible to future competitions. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a little look inside of an event like this, training for strongman. Until next time, keep lifting those heavy weights. Hold strong.